This is Level Up Luke, and this is the Queen City Soccer Show. I'm joined by Jorge Gonzalez, a.k.a. Top Bin 90, the head honcho.
Yeah.
The emoji tweeter himself.
That's it, man.
We got Charlotte's breaking news source here. Jorge, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. I'll cheers your
Cheers,
beer.
man.
I'm doing a little water today.
It's okay. We're here in Matthews, North Carolina, at the Carolina Beer Temple. Enjoying this nice, beautiful, sunshiny day. We've had a couple of rainy games to start off the season, a little bit of wind, but I think the weather's finally turning around here. Jorge, can you tell me, just for the folks who may not know, what is your involvement like with Charlotte FC and the whole community around Charlotte soccer?
Yeah, man. So I guess you would have to take it back to, I started my channel, I want to say December of 2019.
Okay.
Just like, I've always loved soccer. I mean, growing up, I was a big Barcelona and Liverpool fan. Like, I would watch religiously.
Let's go.
And the Honduras national team. Like, that's always been my number one love. And like, I would, back, this was probably like 08, 09. I was a kid still, but like, these guys would be playing in like the championship, and like, you didn't really get that on TV, but you could find these obscure websites that would play the games, and I'm like, yeah, give me the virus. I just want to watch the game.
Yeah.
Right, so I've always had that love, and I was like, you know what, I want to do something where I'm talking about soccer. And that's how Top Bin 90 started, where, we wanted to cover some soccer in Charlotte as well, because they were bringing their team here, right? Like, that's when the team was announced, and ever since that, man, I started going to the events. I started making some really good connections, developing really good sources, and you know what, we started becoming a household name within the Charlotte community. And it's been a really cool journey. We've grown, like, it's still unbelievable to me, like, what we've been able to accomplish. We've got people on the writing side now that do articles. We've got people that create content. We got videographers. So it's really cool what we're developing and, like, where we're at now. But I'm even more excited for the next 3 to 5 years of some of our bigger goals that we have.
Well, tell me about that.
So I think it's a strategic growth that we want to do. The next step is the Carolinas. Like covering more soccer in the Carolinas, and then after that is branching out all over the country. So that's probably like the long-term goal.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate
mean, I've seen the rapid growth. I've been a follower since, first season of Charlotte FC.
Yeah.
And, you just won the 2023 Footy Awards.
For sure.
For media. I mean, that's massive, dude. Like, getting a community award like that, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, man. It means that, that people really value what we put out, because as you know, and you're kind of entering this space more, like, it's a lot of work that it takes. It's a lot of work.
It's a grind.
And then it's a lot of work when you're doing Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, content side, articles, right? So it just goes to show me that people truly care about what we're putting out. So it's important to continue to do.
Absolutely. Do you view yourself as kind of a leader in the space, having so many Charlotte FC podcasts and fan media that has sprouted up since you guys started?
It's a really good question. I don't think that's up to me to decide, but I think that, we're one of the most prominent people that get listened to. So I guess I would say yes, because to me, it's more about what we can do that's great and what kind of standard we can set for our company.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not really looking around trying to say, okay, this guy's doing this or this person's doing that. It's more like, how can we be the best at what Top Bin 90 is, and how can we continue to grow that?
Yeah.
And if we're setting a certain standard for ourselves and other people want to follow that, then that's great, because I think from internally, like our guys know that we have big goals that we want to accomplish.
That's awesome. And tell me about the name Top Bin 90. How'd you come up with that?
Yeah, man. Like, you always know, like, when you hit the ball top bins, it goes into that angle, that 90 angle. The Top Bin account was taken, so I added the 90. So that's how Top Bin 90 started.
That's sick. I've known you for years, and, like, I never asked you that. I was always wondering, like, where did that come from?
And honestly, man, just to give you, like, a side funny story, we actually had that account, like, 2-3 years prior on Instagram.
Okay.
Because, like, the Mexican national team was here in town.
Right.
And I talked to a couple of journalists, and they were like, hey, they're going to go train here. So we went to the training session, and, like, we were just with the journalists, and like, all right, everybody come here. And so we just walked with them.
Yeah, there we
and I was
go.
like, let me create an Instagram account real quickly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we went live, and we got like 50 followers that day.
You're
just
your
off,
first exclusive reporter.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude,
Because
that's sick.
I posted on, like, I guess they tweeted something, the Mexican, and I was like, hey, it's
Right.
great to be here. And people saw that tweet and went, or they saw the Instagram and they went and like started watching the live. So that
Let's
was,
go.
but I didn't do anything with the account for like 2 years. You know,
Dude,
so.
that's awesome. Well, so speaking about like the international soccer presence in Charlotte, I mean, we had the International Champions Cup. We've had some national team games come through, and it seems like that's just been getting bigger and bigger for the city. As far as your fandom and being a Honduras national supporter and Charlotte FC, do you see kind of a difference in the coverage for Top End 90 covering national teams, or are you guys just going to cover anything that comes through town?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. We've been discussing that internally of how we want to move forward with certain things. Obviously, if they come to Charlotte,
Right.
I think that we're going to do coverage of that. But we also want to do coverage of things in an interesting and a unique way, because, and when I say that, is like, it would be very easy for us to go right now and start covering Atlanta.
Right.
You know, we can go, we've got the presence, they know who we are, right? But the problem is, like, to what extent can we cover Atlanta where it's interesting enough, where there's not 8 other people that are already covering it, right? Where it would be beneficial. Like here, we've provided a lot of value, and anything that I want to put our name on, there has to be a lot of value there, you know. So I think it's from that perspective. Internationally, when they come here, of course, we'll do coverage on that. But to me, right now, it's more of what's the interesting angle we can take covering this, versus just doing what every other outlet. I mean,
Definitely.
people are gonna go watch ESPN first before they come to Top End 90 for, you know, something that's happening internationally. That's just
Right.
the reality, you know.
And there's all kinds of reporters, like you said, The Athletic and ESPN, and there's
For sure.
the guys who make their bread on the breaking news coverage.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Charlotte FC, you're known for the emoji tweets.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about the emoji tweets.
Well, listen, man. My personality is more of, hey, I can be serious and I like to have a lot of fun, right? So I can't always be having a good time,
Yeah.
and I can't always just be serious. So it was important for me for that to be reflected in the brand that I built.
Sure.
That's why I'm a business owner. I don't like being told what to do, you know? And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it my way. People are either going to like it or they're going to love it. And that's up to them. You know, the market always decides.
That's it,
in
yeah.
my opinion, right? 90% of people love it, 10% of people hate it. And fair to them if they don't like it,
Right,
you know?
right.
That's just the reality of how we do. But I
Can't let
like that.
everybody.
Yeah, I like teasing. I like, you know, doing stuff like this because it heightens people's emotion before the news.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just, it's something that I love to do.
It works. It
Yeah.
totally. So, I mean, kind of transitioning into you being a business owner. So, let's talk about Jorge. What's your story?
Yeah, man. So, you know, I came from Honduras with a suitcase and a drink. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was born in Honduras, came to Charlotte when I was 5, grew up here, went to NC State for a bit,
Okay.
came back, didn't finish, like every business owner, they typically don't finish college.
Right.
You know, worked in the banking industry for a couple of years, and then I transitioned over to, you know, I started seeing some momentum with Top End 90, and at that time also a friend of mine wanted to start a social media agency, so we went in business together at that time.
Awesome.
We've been growing that company now for almost 2 years. So so I own that, and then I own Top End 90, where over here now is, okay, we have all these points, we have all these momentums, we have all this strategy. Is how do we incorporate bigger sponsorships? How do we partner up with people in the area where they benefit from the 2-3 million impressions we get a month,
Right.
and how do we benefit from what they can provide us?
Yeah, you got to make it self-sustaining.
100%.
Monetization, that's the name of the game. I know we're trying to work on some stuff on our side at a much smaller scale. So it's good to see you growing and getting the big time sponsorships here. In terms of your background, man, I saw really interesting. It looks like you were a loan officer.
I was a loan originator.
That's sick,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a real estate agent. That's
Okay,
my main
nice.
job.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of that going on. What was that like during COVID? Going through the
It was very interesting.
mortgage
Honestly,
industry.
it was great, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, because rates were so low.
right.
Right,
Rate
you know,
fives.
like you would sneeze and have a loan application done.
Yeah.
You know, because people wanted to take advantage of those interest rates.
Yeah, man. I'm
Versus-
locked into a 2.7. So,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. But what happened was, and what made me like kind of transition, was the company I was at they pretty much just did refi, like 80% of the business.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And when it goes from 2-3% to 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
those phone calls start drying
there's
up, and you
no
just got to
business.
keep going.
Yeah.
And they let 80% of the company go. I was one of the people. And that's really when I made my decision. I was like, okay, I can go and get another job because I'd done banking for 7 years.
Yeah.
I've been a licensed banker before. You know, I was like, okay, there's opportunities, but I'm like, I really don't want to work for anybody.
Yeah. I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I've been working for myself for 7, 8 years now,
Yeah,
so
man.
I feel you, man.
There's just a different freedom
Yeah.
that you have. And I'm like, even if I'm not making a lot of money, I value that freedom more than, you know what, making twice the amount that I was making, right?
Yeah.
And working for somebody else.
Yeah, the hardest thing for me, and I would tell people that aren't, you know, a 1099 or they're not a business owner, is it just sucks working hard, putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, and then seeing someone else's name on your work.
Yeah.
So I have my company that I've had for a while, and seeing my own, you know, product out there is a lot more satisfying for me.
It
than seeing
is,
someone else's
100%.
name.
And then, I mean, I had an experience at a job that I was, you know, where I was doing really well. And one of my coworkers got angry and said that, you know, my boss was giving me like unfair leads, and it was just a whole mess. And they
Drama.
interviewed us, and then at the end they didn't find nothing, and that really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, I really worked hard, and I'm being questioned for my hard work.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That let me know that I could get fired at any time.
Yeah.
Good. That's good to know. I'll take that mental note, because in my own companies, if something goes wrong, I get the ball back and I continue to shoot. I've
Yeah.
always been that guy. I don't want to pass the ball and let somebody else shoot. Give me the ball. If I shoot and I fail, I know it's because of me, not because of somebody else.
Dude, I love it, man. That's that mentality, man.
It
That
is,
grind
man.
set.
100%, man.
I love it. Let's go into some, you know, lighter questions here. You know, I ask everybody on these media series and these super fan interviews and everything, like, as far as what your interests are, if there was like one movie you could watch for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
The Most Violent Year.
Ooh,
I
good.
absolutely love
Let's
that movie.
go. I believe
Yeah.
that's an A24 movie too.
Is it?
Very
Okay.
high quality, man. Yeah, high quality production on that.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name now.
Oscar Isaacs, right?
Yeah,
that's my boy.
I love that movie.
He's awesome, and he's Honduran too. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
actually.
he is.
Dang, you learn something
Yeah.
new on these podcasts.
Yeah,
huh?
man. He's half Honduran.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, he's sick. He's a
yeah.
great actor.
I love that movie because you could just see like stuff is happening,
Yeah.
and things aren't going the right way, and you just got to continue to push and continue to push, right? And I love that. I love
Oh,
I love the inspiration behind. I've watched it 4 or 5 times now, and it always sticks to me. You know, so that's probably one of my go-tos.
That's
Especially
awesome.
like if I want to say if I feel overwhelmed or like reggaeton,
Great.
morning,
All right, cool.
midnight, middle of the day. Francisco, who's always with me, you know, can attest to that. It could be 8:30 in the morning, and either like this man is playing
Oh, that's sick.
10 p.m. club music. I was like, that's just how I get pumped up.
Well, isn't that Big Patrick Hajimon? Isn't he into some of the reggaeton too?
I don't know. He might be.
The Afro beats and like all
Okay,
kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I think he
Yeah,
is.
reggae. Okay,
I
nice.
think I heard that on an interview. That's sick, dude. All right, very cool, man. Any last thoughts before you go that you want to share with our viewers, listeners, and where can they find you?
They can find us at TopBin90 on all our socials.
They already follow you. Let's be honest. If you're a Charlotte FC fan, you follow Top Bin. But
Yeah, I think it's just that. I mean, I love seeing the community continue to grow. You know, to me, I don't know, people like, I think sometimes people get upset or mad when they see other people doing, like, there's more
Yeah.
podcasts or there's all of this going on. To me, man, like, as long as you're focused on what you're doing and you can provide value,
right.
like, you'll be able to hit an audience that I can't hit, or people will relate to you versus that may not relate to me because
Right.
X, Y, and Z, and that to me is fine, you know?
I mean, we have 1 or 2 professional reporters that I would describe as like your
For
beat
sure.
reporters for Charlotte FC, and that is nowhere near enough for a professional sports team. So there's plenty of space for fan media, and you're leading the charge on that.
Yeah, I appreciate
So,
that. Yeah, and I think we're very lucky that Charlotte FC, you know, kind of provides us that opportunity because
Yep.
I don't think you go to other markets, it's very different.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? even I think we're blessed enough where I feel like if we 85% of the markets that we go on, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, they'll let us in. But just to see other people, like I've got friends in other fan medias in other areas that, you know, make great content that have high quality stuff, and they still don't get the access that I get, which I'm like, man, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Charlotte gives us to do that. Even if they don't like me all the time.
Right. I mean, hey, preaching to the choir, man. They gave me press credentials, and I was just like, what? Like, what? That was a surprise to me too. But I was just thinking, man, it's been 3 years now with Charlotte FC. And I've been going to all the games. I go to some of the away games, and I go to the Independence games and Crown Legacy. I feel like I see you at all the events, at all the games. You're at like everything. I've been seeing you there for years and years. And one place I saw you that I ran into you was up in Cary, North Carolina at the soccer tournament, TST, the 7x7.
Yeah. We'll be there again this year.
Okay, I was going to ask, like, so what is your thoughts on that tournament? And in terms of coverage, what do you think that contributes to, like, the soccer world and the Carolina soccer world?
So here's where, you know, when I first started Top Bin, one of the things, as an entrepreneur, you realize, you know, some areas have white spaces, right? Or spaces that you can get into. Like, for me, I was like, okay, no disrespect to any reporters in Charlotte. I was like, none of you follow the game. You don't have the passion, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I do. And this is an area that I can dominate in. And, you know,
knowing the game, having the passion,
being blessed, we were able to position ourselves there. And I think with a tournament like TST, with international tournaments coming here, we're really seeing North Carolina becoming a really good hub for soccer. Right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's more like, how can you maximize stuff like that when it's in your backyard now, right? So that's where I see it. From an entrepreneur standpoint, I'm like, okay, what kind of content can we get with a lot of great people that are coming to the Charlotte area? You know, you got Nani coming, Ocho Cinco was there last year. You know, Clint
Steve
Dempsey
Nash
was there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really...
Ryan Reynolds was almost there, dude. I heard he had his plane ticket on standby.
I did not know that.
Because if Wrexham made the semifinals, then he was flying out.
Yeah, and then you can continue to see that, like, the first year was awesome, and I think this year is going to be even better. Because they have now a year under their belt. Okay, we did this right, we did this wrong, It's kind of like the same thing we do at Top Bin. Like, me and my top people get together and we talk about, okay, this is going good, this didn't do so great. How can we improve this? How can we do this? You know, and so it's the same thing. Tournaments like this and stuff going on in the Charlotte area is just going to continue to improve in terms of soccer.
The exhibition games.
Yeah.
We got UNC, Bank of America, and South Carolina and Columbia all hosting games, exhibition games.
High-level games.
Massive. I'm a Celtic fan. I get to see my team in person. For the first time in my life, I get to see them in person.
That's awesome, man. I would say, since I'm a Honduran fan, like, I'm kind of a Celtic fan now because they've got Palma.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like, I watch now because that's my country's player,
Absolutely.
you know. So, and then they had Emilio Izaguirre.
Izaguirre.
I watched him for years too.
Oh, dude, and in the Scottish accent, hearing them say Izaguirre is brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved it. Oh my god. Well, hey, good times. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, man. I'm going to post all the links to your socials on here, and hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. We appreciate it, and I expect to see more emoji tweets in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Let's go.